All right, welcome back, YouTube. Today, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be pouring out our own baits. The things you're going to need, you're going to need the cast, injector, coloring. Some of this coloring are ordered online, but some of this stuff can be found at like Hobby Lobby, arts and craft stores and so on and so on. But you're going to need some plastisol as well. This is what we use to pour the baits. One of the companies here is going to be Bait Plastics Soft Bait Supplies. This is what I usually order my products through. And also too, I have a hardener, and I actually have a softener too, so you're going to need that too as well. I'm going to start out with just a simple 2-inch, I think it's 2¼ inch crappie mold here. Okay, these I had custom made. They're kind of expensive, but they will pay off in the long run for you, especially if you're a fisherman who does a lot of crappie fishing like myself. These will pay off for you pretty quickly, especially when you can make your own custom colors. You know, any color combination that you can come up with would work. All right, like I said, what's going to happen is I'm going to heat this plastisol up to 225 degrees. All right, then I'll add my coloring. Then after that, and then I'll add my glitter, and we're going to extract it from the cup and inject it into the mold. And that's pretty much going to be it. So I'm going ahead and place our plastisol in the microwave. I usually place it in there starting off at 2 minutes. Let it get up to that temperature. It should roughly get to about 250 degrees. Then I have a spoon here that I'll stir it, and I'll add my coloring into it first. I got two different colors here because one color is going to be the tail and the other color is going to be the actual body. I'm going to go with a chartreuse and a blue body with some flakes. I have some small blue here. I'm gonna throw a little bit of gold, and I have some bigger blue flakes in here. Just a random combination I come up with, and hopefully it'll work. I'm gonna take this out to the lake tomorrow and see what it does. But as you see, the process is going. All right, so while that is cooking, your best bet, I've been doing this for a good little bit of time, so I can kind of eyeball it. The right viscosity that you want, as far as before you inject it into the actual mold. So you would probably need to go ahead and purchase a thermometer, one of those laser ones where you can actually get the correct temperature, because you don't want it put in here too hot, you don't want to put it in here too cold. It needs to be in that right around that 220, 225 degree temperature. All right. The flakes is going to be the last thing you add because those tend to burn. So you want to add your coloring first. Once you stir it and get it to the right color that you want, right before you get ready to add it, inject into the mold, then I add my glitter. All right, so this plastic is hot, so you do not want to grab these containers with your bare hands. It'll make you pay. You want to have some type of protection, okay? As you see, that is not the viscosity that we want right there. It's almost there. It's almost there. So we're going to put it back in the microwave for about 30 more seconds. Like I said, definitely wear your gloves because it does get really hot. I'm gonna let that go for about 30 more seconds. And it cures pretty quickly. All right, it cures pretty quickly, but like that right there, it's still hot. So don't do anything stupid like I just did there. Wait till it cools out before you start handling it. For the most part. But I added a little bit hardener because we're going to start off with the tails. You know, bluegills like to grab the back of crappie tails and rip them off. So I'm going to make the tail a little bit more stiffer. And the body, I'm going to let it stay relatively pretty soft. All right, it's been 30 seconds. Just going to go ahead and pull this off. There's some impurity on top here. Just take that off and dump it. All right, you definitely want to have some type of fan in here. I'm going to go ahead and add our coloring. Like I said, we're going to make the tail chartreuse. I'm sure you can measure it, but who has time for that? Don't worry about it if you make a mess. It cleans up pretty easy. You just peel it off. You can actually reuse the product again if you do that. All right. Go ahead and add some glitter. Give it a little bit of highlight there. If you see any impurities, just go ahead and rake them out there. All right, so we're gonna place it back in there for that last 30 seconds and we'll be ready to inject. Like I said, this right here will peel right off, so you don't have to have too much concern about it. Just make sure you don't have like a non-wood surface, a plastic surface or some type of coated surface is best. While that is cooking there, I have different molds, and pretty much I have molds for all of my favorite lures, okay? Cincos, worms, ribbon tails, lizards, such. Just, you know, whatever your favorite lure, the type of soft plastic that you like to throw, just go ahead and purchase you a mold for it. All right. So at this point, you would be measuring and make sure it's roughly around 225 degrees. And this is pretty much there. That's the viscosity that you want right there. And like I said, if you want to add more flake, add it to right before you get ready to inject it. It helps with not burning the plastic. But we're going to do the tail section first. I'm going to take my injector. I'm going to pull it out. Place it on top. Inject it nice and slow so you'll feel a little bit of resistance. Then we're going to go ahead and slowly add more, because as that plastic is cooling, it's going to draw down more plastic. So we'll go ahead and add a little bit to the top, and then in the rest we'll place it to the side right here like that. And then this right here, just place to the side like that. And it's just a little bit of waiting game. And then we'll let you see once it cools down. And then like I said, the cleanup is pretty easy. Once it cools off, you can just kind of pull it together like this. If it has impurities in it, like burn marks or something like that, just go ahead and lay that to the side. We're not going to put that back in the mold, but like this right here, where it doesn't really have any burn marks, you can drop it right back in there. Like that there, and dispose of the other one. Yeah, we'll place it right here for right now. Alright, we're done with that. But I pour just about all of my crappie lures. Mainly fish with 2-inch, 2 1/4 crappie jigs. So this is the mold I went ahead and purchased. I think this mold was about $200. But you think about it, if you're an avid fisherman and you fish a lot, you know, buying those crappie jigs and stuff like that and other lures, that adds up over time. So can save yourself some money. So I'm all about that. And make your own lures. Okay. I even have mold to make my own actual bass jigs, crappie jig heads. I have molds for all that stuff. I'm covered all the way around. The only thing I'll be buying is actual hooks, okay, when it comes to the jig. All right, but I pour everything. I have a lead machine here that I'll melt my lead down, and actually use this lead here to actually fill my jigs. And there's a swim jig one there. I know I have a crappie one here somewhere. Oh, that's my jig there too. Let's see if this one. Oh. Yeah, here we go. This is the one that I usually use when I'm pouring my crappie jigs. I mean, all the sizes, all the way up to 1/2 inch, all the way down to a 16 ounce. The only thing I have to do is buy the actual hook for this to work. But I'll do another video when I'm pouring my actual jig heads, but today I'm just talking about the bodies. All right, it should cure in about 2 to 3 minutes. You'll be able to open the mold. And boom, there we have it. Those are our molds. Okay. But like I said, we're going to be doing two-tone colors. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take these tails off, put them back in the bodies. Done with this. Put those back in the bodies. Then I'm going to re-inject it with another color. Okay. But these are what our jigs look like right here. Once you rip it away from the actual, this is what we come up with right here. Now this is actually a good color to fish with, but like I said, I'm gonna make two-tone color ones. All right, I'm gonna do like a lighter blue with flake in it. But we'll come back after I get these tails back in the mold. All right, we got them back in the mold, and we are good to go ahead and start mixing up the next color. That color there is gonna fill this void here to finish out the actual crappie jig. Okay. Go ahead and place that top back on there. Go ahead and screw it back down. This is a machine aluminum, by the way. I like it because it has these fasteners here to screw it down. That way you don't have no leaking plastic that escape the sides. Unlike these, I have to actually put a pair of vice grips on the outside here to keep that plastic from seeping through the sides. So you always want to have the machine aluminum if you can help it, with the screws already attached to it, of course. All right, so go ahead and place this to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and work on our next flavor here, which is I'm going to use this blue coloring, some small glitter or flake, what we want to call it, some gold. I'm going to throw a little bit of gold in there. I'm going to go with another medium-sized blue. So two different color blues. Just like to mix it up. But of course, back in the microwave for 2 minutes. Also, with your injector, what you want to do is you want to detach it once everything is cooled off. A little cord like this will pop out. And you can go ahead and place it back inside. And you'll be ready to inject again. If it starts to get a little tight, just get a little bit of worm oil and place on the inside of there where the shaft slides back and forth, and you'll be good to go. All right, so that's what we're looking for there. That's the first iteration of heating this plastic up. I haven't added any color into it yet. Now we're about to place it back in the microwave for 30 seconds. Also too, if you're burning this plastic, you want to make sure you have some type of fan available. Plastic has some nasty little fumes that come off of it, so, and you want to do it in a open environment. Like I have both of the garage doors up, so, and I have this fan going. So never do this inside the house. This is a Cinco worm that I poured not too long ago. My own packaging and stuff like that, but this is the color that I came up with here. But it's pretty much black and it has some green and blue flakes in it. But if you like to throw Cincos, I mean, why not pour your own? Make as many different colors as you want. And make as many as you want. For example, all of these Cincos here, these colors here, I actually poured these myself. Okay, all of these, and buy not one of them. And yeah, it's pretty satisfying when you make your own bait and actually catch fish with them. Now there is proper measurements that you want to use when you mixing these plastics, but I'm not doing this like production wise or anything. I'm not selling these lures. I just make them for myself, so I'm not too much worried about keeping up with the small costs as much. But I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple drops. Not too many. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of stir. You see immediately it goes in and turns blue. You want to make sure you mix it. What, 220 degrees, that's about the temperature you want your plastic to be before you inject it into the actual mold. Okay, like I said, you know, I've been doing it for a while, so I can kind of tell what it is. But if you're just beginning this, it's your first time doing it, or just go ahead and get that right temperature. But 220 degrees, that's where you want it at. All right, now that I have that going, let's go ahead and add a glitter. I'm not really measuring this. I'm just throwing some glitter in here. I mean, glitter's cheap. Oh, that might have been too much. So you're not going to break the bank with glitter. And I'm just going to go and get out a good stir. And that's already looking pretty yummy. That looks amazing. Once you get a couple stirrs and you get it to the viscosity like I was telling you, we're gonna go ahead and inject this thing. If you can help it, you don't want to put your glitter in the microwave, not for very long. You have to pay real close attention so you don't want to burn it, and it will burn. All right, that's the temperature we want. Let's go ahead and inject it. And then insert it into the mold. Press down slowly. Once you get that resistance, that's pretty much it. And you want to run a few more drops over the top. Like I said, that plastic is going to draw down into the mold, so you want to make sure you have it filled up as much as possible, as good as you can get it. All right. Place that to the side and let everything cool off. And I'll come back and pop this thing open and see what we got. All right, it's been a couple minutes. We're gonna go ahead and open this mold up. If you get any overflow, just go ahead and peel that off. Go to the side. Just want to open this mold up and see what we got. I'm not a pro at doing this, but the crappie don't care. If it looks good, they're going to eat it. And that is going to be our finished product, okay? That is going to be our finished product. We just pluck these things off here. Come off fairly easy. Could use scissors to be precise, but like I said, by the time you slide this thing up on a hook, it'll be good to go. Any extra, I just go ahead and toss it back in that mold. And the good thing about this is if you find a color that works very well for you, you just keep your plastics, and all you gotta do is heat them up and repeat the process all over again. Once this plastic cools off, you can pull it all out as one unit, throw it in a bag, write your name on it, or write the color that you have here, and you can reuse this stuff. You can continue making more and more of these products here. But as you see, this mold here is a 10. I think it's 10 in this mold here. But I just poured a packet of crappie lures. It cost me hardly anything, and I can make hundreds off that mode. Now what we're going to talk about now is my actual jig heads. Now I got these in two different hooks. I got it in a red hook and I have it in the basic bronze hook here. And they sell this stuff, this Protect powder paint. Let me show you how easy it is to use this stuff. So once you start dyeing your crappie heads and you start making those, you'll be good to go. So all you're going to do is take a lighter, and let me switch hands. You're going to heat this up, I don't know, a few seconds. Once you do it a few times and mess it up a few times, you'll figure out the right temperature. I'm going to heat this jig head up, and you're going to dip it in the old sauce here. And boom, now I got a crappie jig color here. And I just dyed my head. And it doesn't take but a few minutes for it to cool off. So what we're going to do is hang that up here, and we're going to do another one. Folks, this stuff is so easy, so easy. All it takes is a good evening, you can refill your entire tackle box. All right, just heat that head up pretty good. Not too hot, but hot enough to cure it on here. Tap that excess off. And folks, there you go. There's my actual jig head there. And we're gonna hang this one. And we're gonna pull this one down. Now it's already hard, okay? Now I'm gonna show you a little trick that I like to do when it comes to the scent for my lures. This is important. Fish do have a great sense of taste and smell, okay? Believe it or not, in the water, they do. But I don't know if y'all seen, they have these dyes that you can dip them down in, and it has the garlic flavor, garlic smell to it. And that's what I do, especially the tails that I have. You know, they have different colors of this stuff here. Let me actually show you. All right, the spiking. I know y'all have heard of that stuff before, but I'll add this to my actual lures to give them scent. And I usually dye the tail. That's the first thing that goes into the crappie's mouth most of the time. So I usually add the tail. But before I do that, I'll go ahead and add my jig head. Colors that I plan on using, I go ahead and pre-rig those things. All right, got my jig head there. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it down in that dye up into the tail for a few seconds. Pull it out. Now boom, I have a scented crappie jig all the way through. And folks, that is my finished product there. It works. This is what I use, and this is what I do when I'm making my crappie jigs, okay? There you go. We do another one here. Do a smaller head. And don't get too caught up. It does not have to be perfect, okay? I know my stuff isn't very even. The whole idea is to just get the head to the right color that you want it. Don't get so hung up on it being perfect. Fish don't care. Fish do not care. It does not have to be perfect. If it looks good, they're going to eat it. Got the right color, they're going to eat it. They're going to do that. But definitely want to add a little bit of scent to your lures, because the human scent does transfer to your lures, especially when you're sweating. It's a hot day and there's all types of stuff going on. You're constantly touching stuff with your hands. And there we got it, folks.